Hey, what is going on guys, and welcome back to another video. For today's video I just wanted to show you guys what settings I use or think are the best in COD Mobile, but also to tell you what exactly all the settings mean. So the game throws a lot of settings at you and people don't really know what they all do, so a lot of people end up leaving them on default settings, which is sometimes a bit of a waste. I think not everyone's going to want the exact same settings as me, but hopefully you guys can leave this video a bit more informed and then you can make a good decision on what setup you'd like to use. Before we get into all that though, firstly it's really good to be back, and secondly it would be fantastic if you could hit that like and subscribe button on this video. But without further ado, let's get into it. So firstly, the simple and advanced mode. A lot of you guys have already picked the advanced mode. That's totally fine. Just in case anyone is wondering, some people think, okay, simple mode, like, yeah, sure, you don't get to control your firing, but if someone walks in front of your crosshair, it fires for you, which is kind of like a trigger bot. Seems really good, seems a bit OP even. But you'll find if you actually use it that the simple mode, the trigger is not quite as responsive as you probably want it to be, so I would just go with advanced mode. No real problems there, I think. I've set this to custom, but realistically if you have a look, everything is set to hipfire. So just before I go on, I'm going to show you guys. So most of this video, or pretty much all of it I think, is going to be optimized around using the claw setup. So as you can see, it's like using a claw grip on your phone or tablet or whatever. I have an aiming button in the top left corner, a shoot button in the top right, all my movement modifiers like jumping, sprinting and whatnot, reloading as well, that's not movement but whatever, in the bottom right corner, and then my movement, my actual like stick movement, in the bottom left. So this way, for mine, I get to use 4 fingers, which gives you more control, lets you do more. A lot of people use 6 or even 8 fingers. That's especially good if you use a tablet and have more space, but I know a lot of you guys are playing on mobile or are new or whatever, but even if it seems overwhelming, I definitely recommend setting up some form of claw setup. It's much better once you get used to it. Like it's hard to get used to at first. It's a bit counterintuitive, but once you get used to it, I think it will make you a much better player. Anyway, let's go back to the advanced mode. So everything is hipfire because I like to have more control over things. I can aim quite comfortably while still moving and doing all the other things because I have a finger that's just dedicated to aiming, so I don't need my aim and my shoot to be in one button. That's why I recommend hipfire, because if someone's right in your face, you don't want to waste time and aim, you just want to start shooting at them. So that's what I've got there. For the basic MP settings, I'll just go through them one by one. So aim assist just makes your crosshair a bit stickier to targets. There's no reason to have that off, I think. I mean, it just makes your aiming a little bit easier. Yeah, pretty much everyone I know leaves this on. There's no reason not to. So quick run from prone, I'll just show you guys what that means. So if I turn that off here and go prone, see how if I move the stick around, I can crawl around like that? That might be good in some shooters, especially like sim shooters if you guys play anything like Squad or Armor on PC, but that's not really what we're looking for in this game, I think. Most people, when they go prone, they're just doing it to drop shot. I know drop shotting got nerfed, but it's not really a, super sneaky game. You're pretty easy to see, honestly, in COD Mobile, so I leave this one on because now, if I'm on the ground and I need to move again, you just straight back up if you start sprinting, so that's probably the easiest way to go. The next setting, so fix right fire button. I definitely leave this one on because if you turn this off, I'm not going to do it, but the right button will the right fire button, which is this one, the one in the top right corner, can show up anywhere on the right side of your screen wherever you tap, which I think is awful. So I would always have the fix right fire button, just put it wherever you want. Fix virtual joystick display position. So what this setting does is, if you have a look at the joystick here, so mine is not fixed right now. So if I tap up here, it appears up here. If I tap here, it appears here as well. So what that does is you can still tap anywhere in here. It will still work, but what it shows you, like the visual representation of your stick moving left and right from the center, that will always stay where it is in that bottom corner. So it might be better just to show. Let's have a look here. Yep. So see, I'm still moving around. I can still move around up here, but I'm actually tapping. Oh, you guys can't see, but I'm actually tapping off the stick. But it always displays down here no matter where I press, instead of going around. Releasing the right fire button. I mean, shotguns. This is like Okay, I don't have a shotgun right now. In fact, I wanted to have one in my loadout, but all that does is like, so you can run around, you can hold the right fire button. As soon as you see someone you want to shoot, you can let go of the button. So that might be a bit faster. So instead of having to press and release, or just press because it will fire straight away, you can just, you already have your shot sort of, it's like charged up and you just let it go. But I'm not a fan of that personally. I leave that off. I prefer my shoot button to just be a shoot. Continuous grenade throws. So I don't know why the practice range doesn't have grenades. That's a bit of a gripe on my end, but that just means, so you guys know when you throw a grenade, it has that line that tells you where it's aiming. The continuous one is just a dotted line, and the continuous one is a solid line, and if you turn that off, then it becomes a dotted line instead. So it's just personal preference, that one. I leave continuous grenade throw on. I can't see why you would want your aiming line to have gaps in it. Maybe if you don't want it to block out as much stuff, but honestly I've never had a problem with that, so I leave that on. Quick weapon switch is literally just how fast you can switch your weapons. So obviously if you do this, you know, if I'm just spamming this button down the bottom, it will switch pretty fast. So that one just puts a delay on it, just in case you want to maybe not switch back to your other weapon too fast by accident. But this, to me, I would always leave on, because you don't want your control to be restricted. You know, if I press that button again, I want to switch back to the other weapon. It's not an accident, so I just leave that one on. Fast throw grenade. Okay, this is a really interesting one to me. So I actually play with this on when I play solo, but when I play in a team, I have it off. So again, I can't show you right now because there's no grenades in the practice range, but it's pretty simple. All it does is, like, fast throw grenade, if you just tap your grenade, instead of switching to the grenade and having it out in your hand and then using the fire button to throw it, tapping the grenade button throws the grenade. So that's good if you're just running around and you just want a quick, like, sort of panic or like instant response grenade. But if you're playing in a team, you might want to hold down or have your grenade ready, so you can hold down the fire button and aim it first. And then that way, let's say if you're lining up a smoke because you want to take an objective or something like that, that way you can coordinate with your team and get the timing right, and you can count down on the comms where you want to, like, throw 3 smoke grenades on one site and S&D, for example. So yeah, that one is personal preference, but yeah, for me, in a team, in a coordinated, like, 3, 4, 5 man team, leave it off. If you're playing by yourself, you can have it on. Just as a side note to that one, I really think that there should be a mixed one. So if I hold down the grenade button, I really wish it would just hold it and aim it as well, and then I can just release it to throw in quick throw mode, but that's not a thing in this game. Okay, joystick auto sprint. I want this one, I prefer to have this one on, because even though, like, yeah, sure, there's sprint out time and stuff like that, and it does matter. COD Mobile, it's a mobility game. You know, I don't want to have to press the sprint button every single time I want to run. I just want to move it around and be able to just go like that. So pretty much everyone I know as well leaves that one on. That one's fine. Fixed joystick. Okay, so this is one step further than the fixed virtual joystick. So you see it disables it. I actually have to tap at where the stick is around here to move my character, instead of being able to tap like somewhere a bit off center. That just moves your sight like where you're looking. I don't like this. I find it very clunky. Some people might prefer it. If you really know where your stick is and you can just nail it every time, I guess it might be more useful because you can start moving a certain way a tiny bit, like a millisecond faster, but I don't like it, to be honest. I leave that one off, because what if I miss the joystick and then I'm going the wrong way or something? Okay, prone button. Okay, so with the prone button, I mean, I like having a separate prone button, because otherwise you got to go crouch and then prone, which is, like, not good for me. I'm not a big fan of that. I just realized, so right fire button for fixed perspective. So if I turn this on, let's have a look. So if I hold the fire button, as you can see, even though I'm moving in the top right corner, I'm moving the stick around, right? But it's not moving my screen. My aiming is only moving because of the recoil of the gun. If I turn this back off, sorry. So it's not fixed anymore. So yeah, I can still aim. I can still look around while I'm firing. So I leave that one on, but that's just personal preference. I don't really aim with my right finger, but sometimes I find, okay, let's say the time where I find it useful to have it not fixed is, let's say someone comes right up in my face and they run past me and I try to swipe with my thumb. Without lifting my thumb off, because I ran out of space on my screen, I can aim more like this as like an emergency thing. Some people think that this throws off your accuracy, but for me it's okay for that reason. I don't think, you know, if I'm spraying someone at range, I think it's okay. I don't have the best aim in the world, and I've been away from this game for a little while, but I think that one's alright. And the aim down sights button for rotation, so same sort of thing with your aim button. So the aim button I like to have fixed because I don't hold it, I just tap. Yeah, that one is okay, but it does the same thing just with this top left aiming button that I have here. That's all. Okay, ADS, this is personal preference, but just most of these are pretty self-explanatory, but I just want to show you. So hybrid, what I can do, it's hard for me to really show you this, but I can tell you. So with hybrid, so normally you have your tap to aim and you tap again to release it, right? You can see by when it went red, and then, yeah, anyway. So with hybrid, you can also, if the game detects you holding the aim button when you aim down sights, if you release it, then it will aim out. But also, if you just tap it and release it straight away, it won't aim out instantly. So it kind of gives you both. I prefer the tap, but again, that's just a personal preference thing. Funnily enough, if I'm playing on PC with like a mouse, I prefer the other one, the hold to aim, because I think it gives you more control. But for phones, for me, I'm more comfortable using a tap setting. What else have we got? Tap crouch while sprinting. So this one, I find that tapping crouch is a lot better. So if I'm sprinting, I just want to slide. Whoops, wrong button. Wow, I've really been away from this game for too long. But if I sprint, I just tap it. Firstly, that's a good way to get into cover or to dodge someone's fire fast. And yeah, to me, that gives you a big advantage. That, you know, if I had to hold it every time, like, yeah, sure, you can. It's not that hard, but you know, what if I need my thumb to do something else? What if I want to, you know, slide jump just like that? You know, I don't want to have to hold it and then wait like a second for it to slide and then have to do, you know, it's doing too much with your thumb. So I prefer to just tap it. But if you find yourself maybe tapping it by accident and sliding when you don't want to, then yeah, sure, put on the hold crouch. Always sprint, honestly, you can have on. This is just, you know, if I want to move my stick a tiny bit sometimes, okay, side to side is obviously fine, but sometimes if I want to walk forward just a little bit, I can still do that. And if you're sprinting, see there's time before that your gun, so each gun has a sprint out time. So if I'm sprinting and I want to fire, it takes like, you know, less than a second. It's a really short amount of time, but it still does take time. But if you're not sprinting, there's no delay at all. You can shoot instantly, just like that. Yep. So that's that setting. So I prefer to be sprinting most of the time, but sometimes you'll need that, which is why I don't have it on like 100. Gyroscope, I think most of you guys know what that is, but it basically lets you like move your phone around so you can physically like point it up to shoot. Some people like that to, it frees up your fingers, so it gives you more control again, but I don't want to like point my phone at someone to aim at them. To me, it's really weird, but if you like that sort of thing, go for it. I prefer to leave it off. Field of view, in this game, I have it on max, so usually it's not hard to see people in the distance, right? That's where you would want less field of view because it's like more zoomed in. But in this game, as you can see here, your enemies literally glow. So like, for me, it's more worth to have a wider field of view so I can see people. You see how he's on the side of my screen there, right? If I had a less field of view, if I change it, let's just have a look. If I go back here and change it to like, I don't know, I think 60 might be the default. See how I can't see him anymore? Whereas if I go back here and turn it, where is it? Right, you come here, back up. See how I can see him again? So this just lets you see more. It makes your situational awareness better. And I think for Call of Duty, which is a very up close in your face game, I think that more field of view is better. If you really like playing with like long range guns, and especially if you still want to use iron sights, because, you know, optics, they take up an attachment slot in the gunsmith and you'll make your aiming time slower and stuff, you can reduce your field of view if you really need help seeing in the distance. But other than that, field of view, for me, leave it on max, sorry. I think that's the best way to go. I haven't touched with the markers, but this just means how see-through they are, I guess. Yeah, as you can see, you can barely see it there. And then scale is just like how big they are. Yep, so they get smaller and they get bigger, no worries. I just wanted to have a very quick look at audio and graphic, well, mainly just graphics first. So I actually put the quality on low just because, I mean, to me it still, wow, it locked me out of this. To me it still looks fine, but I think that I don't want to be hurting my device's performance, and I always want to be getting the maximum frames per second, which to me is the most important thing for this game. And my phone, you know, sometimes it's alright, but you know, I live in Australia, it gets really hot, it overheats. So low is the way to go. If you have a really nice phone or a tablet or something, you can probably put it up, but the frame rate absolutely must be max. Okay, if you're serious at all, definitely make this max, because if you have more frames, everything is smoother, your aiming is going to be smoother, you seeing enemies running and stuff is going to be smoother, and it's just going to be a better time overall. So I turn all these graphics settings off. I don't think any of them are that necessary. They don't change the look of the game that much, but yeah, as you said, so graphics quality low, disables most of them anyway. If you turn it up to like very high, see, it chooses some for you, and more of them are available if you want them. But I don't think, if you guys think it looks really nice, go for it, definitely. At the end of the day, it's about enjoying the game as much as you can. But to me, if you're going to be really sweaty and you just want frames, low graphics and maximum frame rate. Audio, I haven't really done anything. So sensitivity is probably the last thing we'll talk about. I have mine as fixed. I find that if you have acceleration, it's okay, but acceleration, to me, it makes your aim not consistent. So let's say on PCs, like, acceleration is a big no. On mobile, because you have a bit smaller screen, but you might want to have low sensitivity for accuracy still. Some quickscopers, especially I know, if you really want to get your flicks in, they like the acceleration, because that basically means for the same amount of swipe, I don't know why I went out of that. The practice range is not coming back, but for the same amount of swiping, towards the end, let's say you swipe 1 centimeter, it's like let's say one swipe of your screen, 3 centimeters, the first centimeter won't move your field of view as far as the last centimeter, but I don't really like that. I like it to be consistent. I want all 3 centimeters to give me the same amount of movement, so I have fixed speed on. Sensitivity can be whatever you want, but I definitely recommend having your camera and your firing sensitivity the same. So if you see here, you guys can copy mine exactly, but this will vary between your device. I will say though, in general, you want less sensitivity if you're more of a long range player, and you just need to be able to really hit those small targets in the distance, and more sensitivity if you're a super aggro, like up in your face player. Yeah, so I'll just have that on screen for a second longer, just so you guys can copy it if you want. This is on a Galaxy S10, so if you have the same device, honestly, this could work. But if you have a different device, especially a tablet, you probably need to find your own settings for this. Other than that, though, I think that is all for this video. I really hope I haven't missed anything. This has been quite a long one, but thank you guys so much for watching if you made it this far, and I'll see you all in the next one.